And happening at midday, voters are casting their ballots in today's primary election. We thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Jennifer Bullock. Polls opened at 6:30 this morning across the state as Ohioans make their voices heard ahead of the general election this fall. NBC4's Matthew Herchick has been speaking to voters in Franklin County this morning. He's live in Upper Arlington. Matthew, what are they saying about this election?
Jennifer, good morning. While the Biden-Trump rematch has already been set, voters I've talked to this morning say that even though Ohio won't have a hand in the presidential nominees, they say they feel it's their duty to make their voice heard on whatever issues are at stake. And you can see a couple of voters here currently at the Tremont Elementary School in Upper Arlington. If you missed out on early voting, we do want to make sure that you are prepared before you head to the polls today to cast your ballot. First off, if you are voting in person, you will need a valid photo ID to cast your ballot. That includes an Ohio driver's license, a passport, military ID, or other government-issued ID. If you requested an absentee ballot and haven't already mailed it in, that will need to be returned in person to your local Board of Elections before the polls close. And a reminder that the polls close at 7:30, and as long as you are in line by that time, you will be able to cast your vote. Now, we know that early voting numbers have been down, but we've been talking to voters, like you mentioned, about what's driving them to the polls. We even spoke with a 17-year-old first-time voter who told me that she's been doing her research.
I'm going to be an adult, so I feel like I need to have a voice in the things that happen, especially local, like in Ohio. And so it was really close to my house, and I think everyone should have a voice, really.
Just mostly bringing good American constitutional values back to the United States. I felt like a lot of the values have been lost, and there needs to be a revival of some of those constitutional values.
Now, Ohio is one of the states that allows 17-year-olds to participate in the primary election as long as they turn 18 before the general election, which Lily Ann said she will do in May. Meanwhile, again, the polls will stay open until 7:30 this evening, and we'll have updates on all the races, both on air and online at NBC4i.com. Local for you in Upper Arlington, Matthew Herchick, NBC4.
All right, Matthew, thank you. And NBC4 does have new and exclusive polling that shows a new frontrunner in the three-way Republican race for U.S. Senate. It was conducted after former President Donald Trump held a last-minute rally in Ohio over the weekend. Now, in conjunction with Emerson College and The Hill, NBC4 found Cleveland area businessman Bernie Moreno is at the top, with 38% of those who were questioned saying they intend to vote for him. State Senator Matt Dolan, who led the Emerson poll released just last week, is now in second with 29%, and Secretary of State Frank LaRose is at the bottom with 12% of the vote. However, more than 20% of people polled just days before the primary were still undecided. Now, the Republican voters were also asked what they believe to be the most important issue facing Ohio, and once again, the economy tops that list for 36%, more than a third of those polled. Immigration is a strong second, nearly 29%, followed by threats to democracy. For Democratic voters in Franklin County, the biggest primary race on the ballot is for county prosecutor, where another three-way race is underway. Those running include Columbus City Council member Shayla Favor, Chief City Attorney of Delaware Natalia Harris, and Deputy Chief Legal Counsel for the Prosecutor's Office Anthony Pearson. One Republican is running unopposed. That is John Rutan, a defense attorney. He will face off against the winning Democrat in November, when we will find out who will take over for Gary Tyack. The partisan lean of the Ohio Supreme Court will also be decided in November. But first, Democratic voters must decide who they are nominating to run. Judges Lisa Forbes and Terry Jamison are facing off today, hoping to take one of three seats on the state's high court. Whoever wins will run against Republican nominee Judge Dan Hawkins. Of course, NBC4 is your local election headquarters. Be sure to join Rachel Ramsey on our digital live stream show on NBC4i.com to get all the results in real time. She'll be joined by other NBC4 anchors, reporters, and pundits as we take a deep dive into the results and the issues.